Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Urban Legends video. A big thank you to everybody for the multiple messages about a huge update on one of the past Urban Legends that I talked about here probably a couple of months back. And this is really cool stuff because it's so fascinating to talk about an urban legend and then to actually have it come to life, to actually have it an answer essentially. To have something as far as any kind of finalization towards this urban legend. Who knows, hopefully if everything works right, we'll get some final answers with some of the other urban legends that I've discussed in my channel here. But the one I'm talking about with regards to this finalization has to do with the infamous Atari video game burial urban legend. If you have a chance, check out my urban legend video, the one dedicated to this. You'll see it on one of the playlists that I have just for this channel. And then that way, take a brief recourse on that first, catch up on the history, and then come back here because the update that I have is really cool. And I saw this actually this past weekend, this update, but I was waiting for more information to build up before I talked about it. But here's how it goes. Really quick summation. The urban legend is that millions of cartridges for E.T. the Extraterrestrial, the infamous video game associated with Atari, was buried in an Alamogordo landfill. And the only known documents essentially stating this is, I believe it was a New York Times article, and everything as far as just whatever tall tales that anybody who knew a person or anybody who had a friend, a family member, a co-worker, somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody that was saying about the details on this, that yes, there is the urban legend of there's 3+ million of these cartridges that did not sell, buried in there somewhere in the landfill. Now, as far as the stuff being buried, that is true. That was never the urban legend itself. The urban legend is the fact, or trying to prove the fact that there are millions of them. Because some people say that there's actually just thousands. Others say that there's tens of thousands, and then there are those, especially with the status, with this cult-like status of this particular legend, that there are millions of them. But the update that we have now is really awesome. So here's what happened, and I talked about this briefly inside my other Urban Legends video about this. There's a documentary that's being produced with regards to this particular tale, and it's from a director called Zach Penn, who is actually pretty up there when it comes to the sci-fi world. To give you an idea, he co-wrote the script for X-Men: The Last Stand, and he's the co-creator of the current sci-fi show Alpha's on there. Again, just to give you an idea of where he comes from. And he is set on wanting to have this urban legend proved. So he went through all of the green light. He had to go through Alamogordo City Commission. He had to get funding for this, which actually came from a company called Fuel Industries, which is a Canadian entertainment company, and it was sponsored by Microsoft as well, because Microsoft is planning to exclusively debut this documentary series through their, I guess, channel that they have within their Xbox One and Xbox 360. So he got the funding, he got the permits, he even had to battle, it looks like in my research, the usual environmental complaints, because here's a landfill that has already been covered, and then here he has a crew that's coming over, hired essentially to excavate the landfill and try to prove this true, so he had to get around that hurdle as well. But lo and behold, it happens, and it started on April 26th, just a few days back. This was an event that was completely open to the public, and they found it. They found cartridges, they found a bunch of stuff in fact on there. And part of the urban legend was that Atari got this landfill filled with these games, and then they used a steamroller to destroy everything, because those that follow this particular legend have heard that everything was destroyed. Not a single copy was usable as part of, I guess, the agreement associated with the landfill. But those that have, and you'll see pictures of them here, those that have gone there now to the excavated landfill and have brought up the copies, you can see that they are in almost pristine condition. Some of them still within the very box that they were produced on. So somebody was not telling the truth with regards to this, and it's interesting to see that at the end the truth comes out essentially on there. And very cool stuff. The stories that I was reading on this stated that this event, actually there were about 200 residents that were there because this was on a Saturday, and they were waiting and waiting for these bulldozers to dig through the landfill because it was covered with cement, and then of course covered with all the dirt that accumulated over the decades. But when they it took so long that it went into the dusk, it went into the evening, and then when the next day came around, those that were able to stay there actually were able to get a close look at everything that happened and were able to get some of the games. But eventually the next day came, and this is what you see on here, the results. Pretty cool stuff. And then the idea that, again, this is an urban legend that has been found, and urban legend that has been proved. That's what makes it so damn cool on there. Now Atari has issued a response to this. There was a particular spokesperson, someone named Kristen Keller, who in contacted, said nobody here has any idea what that's about. Whenever they're discussing about the fact of millions of copies again being buried, this is the way that Atari has been for these past couple of decades. It's very hush-hush. It's not something that they want to necessarily discuss because, again, it's a failure on the part of the E.T. game, essentially bringing them down, and it's something that they don't want to see as far as taking up an entire landfill of this stuff because of environmental reasons on there. And they point to the fact that Atari has apparently changed so many owners over these past couple of years that they're no longer held responsible, the current owners, for previous owners' actions. So that's their official stance now. But over these past couple of decades, their stance has been that they don't know anything about it. They won't discuss anything. The infamous no comment, in other words. And that's how it's been on there. But pretty cool stuff. I've been reading that some of these particular cartridges are actually going to go to the Smithsonian, no less. That's how, again, how big this particular legend has grown on there. We're going to have some of these actual cartridges, those found within the landfill itself, being taken to the Smithsonian. And then a part of the agreement was that the city of Alamogordo, in granting these permits, agreed to give 250 cartridges, or 10% of the cartridges found, to the documentaries, because this is going to be valuable. There's nothing has been said about what is happening to the rest of the cartridges. Maybe it's being given to the city for them to sell. Who knows? Maybe they're going to be destroyed, truly destroyed. Who knows on that part, but at least a good number of cartridges are going to be given to documentaries. The other ones are going to be given to the Smithsonian. Part of them are going to be given to the Smithsonian, and then who knows what happens to the rest. And again, I mentioned that this stuff is valuable because sure, you can find the E3 cartridge online for maybe a couple bucks now, but try finding an E3 cartridge that is from the landfill. That's what makes it valuable. And that's what's really cool on that part. If anyone knows anything as far as someone that was actually there for the excavation, post your comments, share your thoughts below. If you were there as well, please, it'd be exciting to see what that was like on there. Because again, this is so damn cool. This is the stuff that that one hopes for, and then it finally happens. So we talked about this a couple months back. It's been going on for decades, and then now, by sheer coincidence, the excavation has been done. All this legwork that happened, it has been done, and the cartridges are found. Really cool stuff. So, anyways, anything else that comes up, I'll post an update on there too. But otherwise, what do you think about this? Is this pretty damn cool that we have now one of the coolest, sweetest urban legends come to life? I mean, damn, this is exciting stuff. So post your comments, share your thoughts below. Thanks again, everybody. Take care.